So this video isn't really going to be a rambling video, but I'm going to kind of go on for a little bit. And I want to make it known that this isn't for any particular ideology or political leaning. I don't care whether you're left, right, conservative, Democrat, Republican, liberal, libertarian, progressive. I don't care. This is something I need you to hear, that the entire country needs you to hear and to understand. Okay? Now, I was doing my daily show the other day, and I came across a story that is just one tiny little example of what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And that story was that there is a hospital that's about 40-45 minutes away from me here down on the Texas border that was having problems finding beds for people with COVID-19. Now, this story applies to hospitals all along, not just the border in this area of Texas, but all of Texas. In fact, all along the border between the U.S. and Mexico. Hospital beds are being filled up because people are being brought here illegally, because we, as by and large the charitable nation we are, when they show up here, we don't turn them away. We send them to a hospital. And what this means is there are people, U.S. citizens, who are not getting treatment, who don't have a hospital bed waiting for them when they need it. Now, of course, the next thing that you're going to say if you're on the left is that I'm a racist or a xenophobe or whatever. But let me point something out to you. Down in this area of Texas where I live, it is primarily Hispanic. 90 to 95% of the people who live down here on the border in South Texas are Hispanic. And what that means is the people who can't get beds are Hispanic. They're not white. This isn't about race. This isn't about the color of your skin. This is just about logic and facts. The fact of the matter is, this is just one small example of why right now, with everything going on in the world and especially in this country, having an open border, just allowing people, whoever they may be, wherever they may be from, to just come here is a bad idea. Now I'm going to go into all the other ways in which we need to understand this fact and how this is a bad thing. Again, we're in the middle of a pandemic. There is civil unrest, political unrest, social unrest, and we are now, in the next 5 to 10 years, on a huge breakthrough when it comes to AI and automation that will devastate the job market in this country. Period. It's a fact. I used to work for John Deere about 15 years ago. Back then, 15 years ago, back in 2005, tractors had the technology to plow a field with nobody driving them, simply by installing a computer and putting a little GPS link on top. We could do that then. In 5 to 10 years, the job market will change drastically across the board. Just take driving, for instance. Just take self-driving vehicles. Cab drivers, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, truck drivers, all out of work in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years. This is going to happen. And that's just in one sector of the job market. Think about all the people that work at fast food restaurants or Walmart or wherever else, or even in a warehouse, that through AI and automation can run with far fewer people. It's going to happen. And it's not going to be the end of the world. Our society will move on. We'll figure out new things for people to do, new jobs that people will take. But we're in for a rough patch. And right now, again, civil unrest, political unrest, social unrest, pandemic, on the cusp of AI and automation killing jobs, we are sick and drowning as a nation right now. We are. It's just a fact. We need to slow down. Period. We need to let some people go. Even the strongest swimmer can't hold up everybody. Eventually he drowns too. And look, we are, in my opinion, the greatest and most charitable and most generous nation in the face of the world. Period. Across the board. But we got there by being the best. We got there by being leaders when it came to automation, when it came to industry. We led the world in the Industrial Revolution. We put a man on the moon. We led the world in computer science and technology. We built the internet. It's why we got to the position that we are now, that we can be so generous and so charitable to the rest of the world. People like myself aren't racist or xenophobic. I want to help people from other countries. I want to be that nation that is the shining example at the top of the mountain, that people will literally die to get here or to get their families here. I'm glad that we can be that nation and we can help so many people. I don't want to be a racist or xenophobic nation, but at a certain point, when we're in trouble, we have to stop and heal before we can continue to be that shining example again. And that's where we are right now. We have a broken leg. And if you have a broken leg, do you go out and go for a jog immediately as soon as you've broken that leg? No. You wouldn't do that. You can't do that. You'll make it worse. You'll hurt yourself, potentially permanently. No, you go to the doctor, you get a cast, you stay home for 6 weeks and you let it heal. That's us. We need to heal. We need to stop what we are doing right now. We need to deal with our problems. Otherwise, we will no longer be that nation that can be there to take in refugees, that can be there to let people come here, that can import workers. We won't be that anymore if we don't deal with our problems first, period, point blank. And it's not even really just the idea of going out for a jog once your leg heals, right? Because the other side of that is, with AI, with automation being on the rise, with what they're going to become in the next 10 to 15 years, it's not just, hey, let's go out for a jog now that our leg's healed. Well, now all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of potholes out there that we have to fill those first before we can go for a jog once we have healed our leg. I don't know how else to say it, guys. Bad times are here, and bad times are coming. And we'll get over it. Society will move on. New jobs and vocations will be created. And we'll be fine, but it's going to take time. And right now, all we are doing is making the problem worse. We are piling more and more people on top of us while we're trying to swim against the current. And we are drowning. Just think about that. The next time you have a conversation with somebody about the border, next time you talk to somebody about their left-wing ideologies, whatever it may be, you are somebody that has left-wing ideologies. Please just think about it. It's not about being xenophobic. It's not about being racist. It's about trying to save ourselves first so we can go on and save others. It's that simple.